There are known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns. But there are also unknown knowns. We are the ancient and esoteric Order of the Jackalope, a secret society devoted to unearthing and sharing this forgotten knowledge. Today's episode, The Centers of All Things, presented by number 7 and number 13. Hi, well, so there have been some interesting developments here in the secret recording bunker, folks. I was out in the hallway trying to see if I could find whatever hidden speakers keep piping this bird song in, when I discovered a door into another secret hidden recording bunker just next door. And inside was number 7, who is with us here today.
Hello!
Yeah, number 7 is going to grace us with an episode, thank God, because I am starting to run out of material here.
Yeah, I doubt that could happen.
Oh, you'd be surprised. So what are we going to talk about here today?
We're going to talk about the centers of it all, mainly the North America and various parts of it.
Okay, why is this a subject that interests you?
Growing up, my family did a lot of road trips. Runs in the family, drives in the family, and finding stuff along the way was always something that we did because it was pretty much free. And, military families, not a lot of money.
I bet you've seen a lot of Biggest Ball of Twines in Minnesota, and they're alike.
Oh, don't forget the biggest pecan.
Biggest pecan? Where's that at?
Probably in the South, maybe Louisiana.
Okay, so you haven't actually seen the world's biggest pecan.
No, but I have a postcard somewhere of it.
We'll have to look that up later. Look for that on Twitter, folks, the size of the world's biggest pecan.
It's a pretty cool looking piece of fiberglass. The bollweevil one.
It's a fiberglass pecan. That is not even good. Who wants to see a fiberglass pecan? If I want to see the world's largest pecan, it better be a real pecan, an actual functional pecan. So we're here today specifically to talk about the geographic centers of places. Now, is there any significance or importance to the geographic center of a country or state?
Bragging rights.
That's it?
Tourist attractions make money.
Okay.
Let's bring people in. Other than that, no real reason. I haven't encountered any.
Okay. So let's start with the important one, the geographic center of the United States. Now, that was originally Washington, D.C., or close enough. I'm assuming it's moved a little over the years.
Just a little bit. It depends on what states were added.
And where are some of the places that have been the geographic center of the United States?
Columbus, Kentucky.
Really? I'm assuming that was fairly early in America's development.
It was about 1803.
I have heard a legend that Columbus, when they discovered they were the geographic center, thought that they were going to be the new capital of the United States as a result.
Oh yeah, they were planning on making it look in the same kind of grid pattern as DC. It didn't happen.
Too sad that it didn't happen because it's a great story, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it'd be great if it happened. So. Oh well. But as states were added into the Union, it started moving west.
I imagine it took a giant leap west when California was admitted.
It's somewhere in Kansas.
I imagine the geographic center was pretty stable once Washington was admitted to the Union in 1889, because then you have all 4 corners of the country pinned down and fixed. But I've read a lot of newspapers from the time, and it really feels like every city in Kansas was kind of claiming to be the geographic center of the United States at some point or another, either as a way to boost tourism or economic development. Were they ever really able to nail it down any more concretely than somewhere in Kansas?
They ended up choosing a place called Junction City.
So what's in Junction City?
Junction City has Fort Riley, which holds a memorial there. Memorial to a Commander Ogden, who died. He was the commander of Fort Riley. Just convenient that he died in the center of the United States.
That doesn't sound very official.
No, it's not official at all. They just laid claim to it. It's close enough.
Okay, well, this is the United States, so I'm sure at some point someone nailed down an official center of the United States.
I'd have to say it's in Lebanon, Kansas.
So who determined that the center of the United States was in Lebanon, Kansas?
It was the United States Coast and Geodetic Survey.
So I'm sure there's some gigantic, impressive monument there.
Not in Lebanon, Kansas, no.
Really? What do they actually have?
It's like a tiny church and a stone plaque.
Wow, that sounds vaguely disappointing.
Yeah, I wasn't too bad when I didn't see it a couple years ago when I was in Kansas.
Not sorry to have missed it, huh?
Correct.
Well, I imagine it was only there for a while because obviously in 1959 we admit both Alaska and Hawaii to the Union. So where did it wind up after that?
Belfort, South Dakota.
Nice.
In 2008, the lovely community of Belfort put up a newer marker to mark the center of North America. And it was a compass rose. It looks similar to the one that is located in Four Corners and is one that you can actually stand on, walk on, lay on. So you could actually lay in the center of North America.
Nice.
That sounds pretty cool.
Have you been?
No, because I didn't even know about this.
Aw.
I failed.
Well, we will have to take a road trip once this is all over.
Oh, you know it.
Now, I have actually done a little research on this topic, so would you like to know where the geographic center of Canada is?
That would be fascinating.
It is in the middle of nowhere, unexpectedly. It's in Yathgad Lake, Nunavut. It's so remote that I'm pretty sure they don't even have a little historical marker there.
Do they even have roads there?
Probably not. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm down on the good people of Nunavut because I know they have roads. But yeah, boy, this is remote.
I don't know if I want to go there.
Want to know about the Geographic Center of Mexico?
They have a geographic center of Mexico?
They have 4 competing cities, each of whom claims to be the Geographic Center of Mexico. Depending on who you ask, the Geographic Center of Mexico is either in Tequisquiapan, Guanajuato, Zacatecas, or Aguascalientes. And ask the Mexican government, they literally don't care where it is.
I mean, why would they?
As we've established, it is an entirely meaningless landmark. Now let's go for the big one, the granddaddy of them all, the Geographic Center of North America. Now it's not a country, it's not going to have borders or, edges that shift over time. So I imagine that one's fairly stable and fairly well known. Where is the Geographic Center of the North American continent?
In 1904, they said Pierre, South Dakota.
Fascinating. How did they figure that one out?
Well, any 5-year-old could tell you they drew a big X.
What, like they just took a map and drew a big cross on it and said, that's close enough to Pierre?
Oh, yeah. Why
Wow.
not?
Well, that's exciting. And what did Pierre do to commemorate this momentous, if specious, designation?
Well, in 1923, they built a monument in the middle of the road.
That does not sound very safe.
Well, in 1928, they did move it to Snake Butte.
Well, that seems a little out of the way. Now, I've done a fair amount of road tripping myself, and I've never heard of Pierre being the geographic center of our continent. So what happened there?
In 1931, the U.S. Geological Survey decided, you know what, we're going to find a new one. Let's try a new method of discerning where the center of North America
So
is.
what were the fabulous scientific techniques that they used in 1931 to determine the geographical center?
They cut a cardboard out in the shape of North America, and they balanced it on a pin.
That, once again, does not seem very scientific at all.
Well, this was the 30s.
Yeah. I guess there is some argument to be made here that if you can get it to balance, the weight is distributed evenly, but that's generally not how I think of geographic center being defined.
It worked. It's pretty darn close to where the actual center is.
Okay, so they take a cardboard cutout of North America, balance it on a pin, and where does that tell them that the geographical center is?
Balta, North Dakota.
I have never heard of Balta, North Dakota.
I never heard of Balta, North Dakota, and I've been to North Dakota.
Is there anything in Balta?
I don't think so.
Why is that?
Because Rugby, North Dakota grabbed the claim as being the center of North America.
Were they like just the largest city in the nearest area?
Oh, yeah. It had access to a major road, which was Route 2, also known as the Empire Builder. And they're like, yeah, it's here. Not that other city.
Well, I imagine Pierre was not happy about that.
Who would be? I'm sorry. Pierre already had all the fun being the, capital of South Dakota, but it wasn't the center of North America.
Well, sorry, Pierre. You had your moment in the sun. It's over now. Get over it.
Yeah, there were lots of sniping between Pierre, Rugby, Balta. The actual one I've been to was in Rugby, because it's right down the road.
Well, what kind of memorial do they have in Rugby?
They have a stone obelisk type thing. It's about 15 feet high. It was built by some Boy Scouts.
Do you have a photo or something of it that I can look at?
Oh, yeah. I have it posted on my Instagram, and I'm pretty sure you can share it with everyone.
I am looking at it right now, and it looks like it's a support pillar for Mike Brady's home. It's not very attractive.
Well, there are flowers around it, don't forget.
Right.
And it does have a railing up those 3 steps.
Right. I'm just saying, if someone built this in my backyard, I would say, why? It's not pretty.
Well, there is a restaurant in the parking lot, too.
You are really, really making the hard sell for Rugby, North Dakota here.
There's really not much in Rugby, North Dakota, truth be told. It's a nice little town to drive through. To say you've been there, beautiful. Well, a couple things about Rugby that it does have going for it is they really laid into it. They are the center of North America. I mean, their Chamber of Commerce website, they had a Miss Center of North America. Yeah. What year was that one? Do you recall?
I believe they were holding them at least as late as the mid-'70s, because I've seen some newspaper photos of Miss Geographic Center 1969, and she is smoking.
What is she smoking?
Probably Camels, but I probably can't say that. We might lose our clean tag. I don't know if that counts as drug use.
Rugby has competition.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a place called in Robinson, North Dakota, that in 2016, they decided they were closer to the center of North America. And the place in Rugby, they kind of let their trademark lapse, and they took it over.
I think I've heard this story. If I remember correctly, Bill Bender, the owner of Hanson's Bar in Robinson, was drinking with his buddies, and they got out an atlas and figured that Rugby wasn't on the Geographic Center, and Robinson was just as close to the Geographic Center as Rugby, so that I believe there's an actual marker in the bar proclaiming that the bar is the Geographic Center of North America.
That sounds more valid than an X.
It sounds just as valid as an X. Yeah, my understanding was that the good people of Rugby were not too happy about that. Lawsuits were threatened.
But you know what? They don't have a leg to stand on anymore in Rugby.
And why is that?
Well, there is a news center of North America, and it's in Center, North Dakota.
That seems surprisingly apropos.
Not for what you think. It got its name because it's the center of the county.
Oh.
Not the state, not the North America.
So it's just a freaky coincidence.
Crazy coincidence.
And looking here online as we're talking, I can see that this was determined by actual scientific methods by Peter Rogerson, an actual professor of geography at SUNY Buffalo, and not by, say, a bunch of Navy guys holding pieces of cardboard on a pin, which...
or a bunch of drunk guys in a bar in... Robinson, North Dakota?
I know that I definitely trust a professor of geography way more than I trust someone just taking a Mercator projection and drawing a big X on it with a felt tip pen.
Mercator projectors are absolutely accurate. What are you talking about?
Well, are the people of Center, have they made any hay out of their new designation as the center of our glorious continent?
No, there's nothing there.
Well, you think there will be?
Maybe if this episode gets traction.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. The center of North America is in Center, North Dakota. Well, thank you very much for being our guest this week.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure to be here.
This has been a fascinating excursion, and I have a feeling that, again, once this is all over, we're going to take one hell of a road trip.
Yeah, I'll do the driving.
Oh, thank God, because I hate driving.
I love it.
Oh, I know you do. All right. Well, this episode was prepared by David and Dorothy White for the Ancient and Esoteric Order of the Jackalope and is released under a Creative Commons 4.0 non-commercial share-alike international license. All rights reserved, all wrongs reversed. You can keep up with our updates by following our social media accounts at Order Jackalope on what do we got? We got Twitter, we got Tumblr, we got Instagram. We have Tumblr. No one else has Tumblr, but we have Tumblr. We are not on Facebook. Sorry, Facebook. We do have a website at orderofthejackalope.com. That's Order of the Jackalope with hyphens between the words, because Order of the Jackalope without the hyphens was already purchased. Poor planning on our part. Hey, you want to join the fastest growing secret society in the nation? Well, before you can partake of the secret mysteries, you got to share a secret mystery of your own. Go to our website at orderofthejackalope.com and click join us for more information. Hey, and there we go.
All right.
Woohoo! Now let's go see what we can do about these damn birds.
I'm a ventriloquist.